完璧などありえない。この世界は不完全だから美しい。もう
バカバカバカ。
何？
俺は海賊王になる。なんて美味しさなの。
力を渡した時に言ったことを覚えているかい？くれ。違う、そこじゃない。
変態。遅い。
Hello and welcome to More Than Hentai, a podcast that is here to show you that anime is far more than just tentacles and catgirls. There's also countless stories of love, loss, laughs, hope, horror, and happiness that are just dying to be found. And I, Brendan White, the Salt and Pepper Senpai, am here to help you find them. More Than Hentai is proudly powered by Audio Technica and Dash Water. So please go upgrade your audio and hydration games today. And joining me on this episode is a man who frequents many the same circles as I, and yet this is somehow the first time we actually have met face to face. He's been making content for well over a decade with a big focus on safe and inviting gaming and pop culture communities, as evidenced by his leadership role in Team OCE. He's also a streamer and host of the ZLB and Creator Notes podcast, which you must go and check out once you've done listening to this episode ASAP. From an anime standpoint, he's a man with impeccable taste, calling titles like Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, Sword Art Online, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Love is War, Komi Can't Communicate, RE0, and Dr. Stone among his favorites. You can find him on them socials at Zombies Love Bacon, but that is LV, not LOVE, just LV in between Zombies and Bacon there, or via his website, zlbhq.com. Zombies, welcome to the Riverside Studio, my friend. How might you be doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. God damn, that was an intro.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go take a nap, so I'm just going to throw the hosting duties over to you, and you can just run this solo for a minute because I'm pooped. But no, mate, thank you so much for joining me here. It's great to have you on the mic because, yeah, we've sort of crossed paths, like sort of ships in the night a few times where we've been in and around this gaming pop culture space for many years collectively here. We've engaged and discussed stuff online, but we haven't like bumped into each other at a PAX or at a various gaming meetup. And so this is our on-camera debuts with each other. So it's a good time.
I'd almost think that you're avoiding me because it's been years. Like it's been so long and so many events that we seem to be there. We just never bump into each other. But but I think we have very similar sort of interests, and we again in the same sort of circles. So. First time it took too long, honestly.
I think so.
When I saw you like talking about anime and doing an anime podcast, I'm like, this is my in. And I was just slack, honestly. I should have got on.
Me too. Like I should have been more assertive with like, hey buddy, like, come on, here's our chance. I see you talking anime. I'm talking anime. Let's combine like a big sexy Megazord in Power Rangers and go fight Rita Repulsa. So, but we're here now. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, look, and I got to say, when you ask what's your favorite anime, oh man, that's a hard question. I sat there for so long. I'm like, I can't put down 50 odd titles.
You could have, but like you've listed some heavy hitters there. Like a lot of the titles that I mentioned that you like are also on my favorites as far as anime that cross a whole host of genres too. So I like that you're not into just, you're not just an isekai boy or a shonen boy. Like you're into everything and anything, as evidenced by some of those titles we mentioned there. But before we go anime centric, maybe we focus just on you from a broader lens as far as who you are, what you do, some of the cool things you've been up to for the last 10 goddamn years in this content creation space. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's been kind of hectic, not going to lie. I was looking at all the stuff that we've done just in 2023, and it's been a lot. But yeah, no, content creator, coming up on 11 years with the Zombies Love Bacon brand. I was doing other things before that, so yeah, very long time in content. Got a soft spot for retro gaming, love retro gaming, but I'm also very much, I like being on the forefront. I like being what's the new hotness. Whether or not be a sort of an indie that's kind of taken off or a AAA game. I like playing I don't play one game very often. I play many games and just anything pop culture and gaming, I'm into it. And and sort of streaming regularly on Twitch, but also that's kind of limiting in some senses. So I like to get out and attend a lot of events. I'm into a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows and stuff like that. Just a lot. I'm into everything, basically. Pretty much anything that's internet or internet adjacent, I'm into it. It's pretty much how it turns out. And podcasting as well. We've been on a few now. Got some new ones coming up, hopefully, and just really just just love being in the space basically, and hanging around people that have similar interests is kind of the main goal, I guess. And the main reason I do a lot of the content stuff is to meet people and hang out with people that like the things that I like, so we can talk about it. Because you do your 9 to 5 and they just want to talk about footy and you don't know what they're talking about most of the time. It's like, hey, what'd you do on the weekend? It's like, definitely nothing sport related. I'm sorry.
yeah. Let's just skip that and get the work done, eh?
Yeah, that's it. And I think, as much as you sort of drill down the sort of the niches, as video games has become more and more sort of widely accepted now, and I feel like, particularly the last few years, animes is also getting to that point where people are starting to realize that, hey, that overproduced Netflix show isn't maybe the best story compared to a really defined sort of manga turned into anime, and that's really where I sort of fell into it. I'm just like, I'm watching these anime shows and this is better than Lost, or better than Walking Dead or whatever. It's like, I'm like, I'd much rather watch this. I don't care if it's animated. It doesn't matter. And once you go down the rabbit hole though, there's no turning back. So you end up here.
That hole goes for eternity. So there is anime literally out there for everybody, no matter what unique kink or obsession you might have. There's a damn strong chance that there's an anime out there for you to consume and probably love and obsess over. And that's the great thing with this medium, that, like you said, Zombies there, where it's starting to break into mainstream media more. It used to be just seen as a cartoon that was something weird for kids, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's not for me. But the fact that you can have just these emotional uppercuts from various types of anime that you can't find in these Netflix, Prime, Stan, Binge, whatever streamers that are doing live action and burning through millions and millions of dollars to make subpar content.
And then you watch an anime and go, they did this better, I like, one of my big ones is like, as much as I really liked watching The Walking Dead when it came out, but then like towards the end of it, you kind of fizzle. Everyone kind of jumped off at some point, right? Well, obviously people are still watching because they're still making it. But then I flipped and I go, oh, like I watched Attack on Titan. I'm just like, man, they're doing this so much better. Like this is like the dystopian, the everything and the mystery. It's real compared to Walking Dead. It's like, oh, okay, well, these 3 new characters they introduced at the start of the season, they're the 3 that are going to die at the end of the season. It's
all that's confirmed is Daryl Dixon is eternal, and he can do no wrong.
But yeah, it's I grew up playing a lot of games and stuff. Like I played a lot of like Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 and GameCube and all that sort of stuff. And there was always that element of playing games and then going, oh, hang on, this game is based on an anime. And then you'd go and you'd watch the anime and you get the source. And then again, down the rabbit hole you go. And, for me, like Dragon Ball Z was that, where I played the game first on the Super Nintendo. And I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. And then someone's like, oh, there's a show. And then that was, I don't know, 80 episodes of Freezer and some other show.
And I think they're still in that original fight going at the moment. Like
that's the Legend goes. It's still going. Actually, I think Freezer just joined Fortnite, so it's just keeps going.
I saw him last night. I was playing with a couple of the boys last night, and Freezer and Cell are in there at the moment. I'm just like, oh, here we go.
Still going. And that's weird because you tell people that's, that fight was in the 90s, early 90s. Still going though. It's still going.
And that's probably the part that I have the most difficulty with in anime are these long form stories that are getting told, your Dragon Balls, your One Pieces, your Bleaches and stuff, where they're going hundreds upon hundreds of episodes. And that's great if the story's consistent and it's keeping me engrossed minute to minute. But when it might take 40 episodes to give me a payoff or something to care about, I'm just like, fuck, I could watch 10 other anime in that span of time and have complete stories told and feel great for it instead of being frustrated here. It's
that age-old question of, is there enough content there for 80 episodes, or is it that you had to go for 80 weeks? That's the real question. And and the more you look into, like, I don't want to pick on Dragon Ball, but look at Dragon Ball, that's why Frieza took so long to beat, because they had, so many weeks of content they needed to fill.
Exactly. Where you look at like that list that I mentioned as far as some of your favorites, like Demon Slayer has a cracking pace. Like it knows when to stop and allow those little moments to marinate and impact more. But for the most part, it's pretty balls to the
Top
wall.
Gear. Yep.
Yeah.
The whole time.
My Hero,
Yeah.
same thing again. Even some of the other ones, like I love that you've got Komi Can't Communicate, RE0, Dr. Stone, and Lover's War on there, because they're four that are very near and dear to my heart for a whole host of reasons. But same thing, like the pacing is fantastic in all of them.
Yep, it's all killer, no filler, as they say. And it's
shout out to Sum 41.
But it's like Demon Slayer's S class for me. Like I just remember just watching it. A lot of animes and stuff. I'll just jump on simply because I go, I recognize these characters. These are the characters everyone's talking about, and I'll just jump in blind because it's the best way to go in, right? And the Demon Slayer is just. When they hit top gear, it just goes and keeps going. And it's like, when are we calming down here?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just unbelievable and it's not like if that was week to week, you'd sit in your chair waiting for a whole week. You wouldn't get up because it's just, it's crazy. And then you look at things like One Piece and stuff like that. There's literally entire lists of these are the episodes you don't need to watch because they'll filler. It's like, okay, well, at least I don't have to watch 1,000 something. What are they up to now?
I think 1,073 or something like that, which is insane. Like I'm intermittent on One Piece. I'm close to 200 now, but even that, like it's been tough, man. I've been cracking through this year, but I'll just get so frustrated with it sometimes. And I get upset because I rag on One Piece a lot here because I've got a few One Piece super fans that are friends of mine, and they're just like, you know what? When it gets like that, just take a break. I'm like, but that's not good storytelling. If I need to stop, that's not good. And they're like, yeah, we'll go on One Piece then and find the filler list and skip through. I'm like, that's not good storytelling either. Like I want the full experience.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly that. It's like, okay, so how many episodes are worth watching? And then why are there other episodes? It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm the same. I haven't made it through One Piece. I've tried Bleach before. I just can't get through that many episodes without there being like payoff at each episode essentially. And that's why a lot of the shows that I've been watching, like a great example is like something like Darling in the Franxx, right? It's a one and done. Good. And the story's set up so it kind of escalates each episode until it kind of gets nuts and then it's over and you're like, oh, excellent, great. I had the great time. It was good. It didn't. It's
beautiful, man.
Yeah, it didn't need to be any more than that. And there's so many shows now that you watch it and they're kind of one and done, and you go, well, that was excellent. As much as you'd love to have like a season 2 or whatever, it's better that they kind of had the whole story planned out in advance, and you get to watch it and do it.
Yeah, we don't want a Game of Thrones type of scenario happening for your favorite anime just for the sake of more content.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a few that I've watched and stuff, and I just go, oh man, it really dropped off at the end there. And it's kind of like they ran out of budget sort of deal, and it's like if they just kind of planned ahead. And a lot of people pick on like Attack on Titan for their way that they've dropped the final season, which is I don't know how many parts / movies / episodes it ends up being.
It's absurd.
But when you watch it all, you go, all right, I get it. It's like, I get what you were doing. You were prepping stuff. You had to get stuff lined up in a certain way, and and like the payoff in that show was nuts.
Yeah, they stuck the landing. I was very happy. I was very emotionally fragile after watching those final chapters or whatever they called them. But man, I'm happy that we got closure, and it was some very powerful closure, I guess we could say.
Yeah, and again, you watch that first season of that show, and you go, this is feels like a different show. Like you had no idea which direction they were going. And the only reason why it got to where it got to and paid off so well is they knew where they were going from the start. So good planning, which is always nice. So it's but yeah, it's for me. Anime is a lot of my favorite shows and movies that including everything, live action and everything. A lot of them are anime because I just feel like they tell some pretty powerful stories. So
yeah, they just do it better. Like, don't get me wrong, some actual live action films and television shows and documentaries are must watch.
Yeah,
110%. But just the freedom in the space with anime, they can just make these things that cannot exist in reality become real and believable and emotional, whether that be happy, sad, anger, fear, and everything else in between. And it just works.
100%. Yeah, totally agree.
No, we're very spoiled. And the fact that, like we both said earlier, that it's just becoming more and more mainstream. Like the Netflix back catalog for anime these days is getting very impressive. Disney's lagging behind a little bit. Prime's got some stuff. Obviously, Crunchy and Funimation are your go-tos, but like Netflix has got a deep catalog of stuff for new and old anime fans to discover as well.
Absolutely. And like a great one, and I put it on my list obviously, is Komi Can't Communicate, which is like, I remember watching that and then got about halfway through the first season, I stopped and I said to my partner, I said, you need to watch this because this is like,
it's beautiful.
It's like it's meaningful storytelling, which is rare, first of all, but also like in terms of like essentially a high school drama, it's next level. And like there's nothing live action that is quite as powerful as that. And it's not all tear jerking and whatever, but it's got some fun parts to it as well. But it's actually got a really good message behind it, which I just found phenomenal. And the animation's excellent. The show's excellent, full stop. But
yeah, I love Komi Can't Communicate so much.
I was just so surprised to find something so good just flicking through Netflix one day and just like, this is nuts how good this is. It's like, yeah. And like we've ended up buying the manga since and read through it and everything else. And it's like, it's just top quality stuff. And you just don't expect to see it hiding on Netflix. You know, they need to bring it to the front, I think, put it on the front page.
Yeah, plenty of good stuff hiding on Netflix. And we're doing an episode of Komi Can't Communicate in the next couple of weeks, which I'm very excited for because I'm bringing on a friend of mine, Ray, who is pretty well alien to the anime universe. She's watched a bit of One Piece with her kids, but that's it.
Oh, excellent.
So I've sort of said, I reckon you might enjoy this because, like you said, Zombies, it's got great messaging, it's got great heart, and it's really respectful. Like because there's a heavy emphasis on social anxiety within the show, but they've got this female moderator that explains it more as the episodes progress. So you learn. Yep. And you sort of pick up on cues that maybe friends and family might have in real life.
It's portrayed really well. It's really well done, and that's what stuck with me. I'm just like, this is awesome. You know, again, though, like it's people that have suffer from similar sort of stuff or feel the same sort of way will watch that and resonate with that in ways that other shows they wouldn't. It's That's I'm excited to hear that episode actually from an outsider looking in. Someone to experience it. It'll be an interesting episode.
Yeah, I rewatched both seasons, which they've now, for some reason, merged into one season.
Yeah, they have.
From when I first watched it. So I rewatched all of that about a week or so ago. So it's pretty fresh and it's still so great. So I can't wait to unpack that one because it is a standout. But yeah, listeners, if this is your first time stopping on by More Than Hentai, the way this podcast works is I've had Zombies fill out a bit of a Q&A so I can get a bit of a feeling, bit of a heartbeat as far as what his viewing habits are, things he does and doesn't like in the anime space. We already talked about some of the anime titles that he adores. And then I try and find an anime that could potentially become his new obsession, his new favorite anime. And we watch the first episode front to back. We don't watch the entire season. Should Zombies want to watch beyond episode 1, that's more than fine. But we're just going to be unpacking the first episode in its entirety. So we're going to be going spoilers, potentially beat for beat through the plot, depending on how we talk through this thing. And nothing's off limits from episode 1, but anything outside of that scope, we're not going to sort of dive into. So we're not going to ruin any major twists or any major eye-opening experiences that happen later in this anime. And the good thing with this anime is it's currently ongoing, like it's currently airing right now. So we're only halfway through this first season. So this is, I think, only the second anime I've done. Oh, actually, it's the third, sorry. The third anime I've done. We've done an episode of this where it's airing. So we haven't got to the completion of a season. So I don't have a full picture of it yet, and neither do Zombies. But the title in focus is called Undead Unluck, and it is a supernatural action comedy manga series written and illustrated by Yoshifumi Tezuka, and has been serialized in Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump magazine since January of 2020. A 24-episode anime adaptation produced by TMS Entertainment and animated by David Production premiered in October of 2023, with 12 episodes currently available at time of recording, which is the 28th of December of 2023. Undead Unluck currently holds a score of 7.85 on my anime list, and that's based off 26,000 unique users. And the story of Undead Unluck is as follows. Fuuko Uzumo, afflicted by a curse causing death to those who touch her, contemplates ending her life after the conclusion of her beloved manga series. On a bridge, she accidentally touches a man named Andy, discovering he's immortal. Both seeking death, they team up to fulfill Andy's wish while evading a mysterious organization aiming to exploit their unique abilities. So, goddamn, The concept and the premise of this is nuts. I found this episode just by accident, maybe a month or so ago, because it's not on Crunchyroll. I don't think it's on Funimation. It's not on Netflix. I just found it perusing one of these various anime websites just to see what's what. And I saw that. And then when we started talking, I'm like, you know what? Zombies, undead, there's some themes here as far as stuff that you enjoy watching. So hopefully it will synergize well with you. But yeah, let's talk episode 1 of Undead Unluck. Where do you want to take this conversation, man?
But before you get started, I did find it somewhere, actually.
Oh, really?
It's on Disney Plus.
And he's like, oh shit, okay.
They've only just started on there, but because I was like, I've seen this somewhere, surely. And sure enough, yeah, they've got the it's up on Disney Plus, which is I watched it. They've only got 3 episodes up so far, so a little bit behind, but that's fine because we're only watching the first episode. But oh my, my first question was going to be, where did you find this? Because it's not like it's first of all, it's great, like it's something different. And the characters straight away, like they have barely any kind of introduction. You kind of just jump straight into it. I'm pretty sure that Fuuko's first line is like, "I'm just going to take my own life now," and it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, we're going there straight up. All right, fair enough. But yeah, it's only just new. I didn't know anything about it. I haven't looked at anything else, so just watched the first episode, and yeah, it raises a lot of questions. Like straight up, I was kind of itching to know more what's going on. But yeah, let's I guess take it from the start. They pretty much start up with they meet on the bridge. She's looking to end her own life after finishing the manga, and then old mate Andy. I think I think she refers to him as zombie for most of it. Which
just calling him zombie, which I thought was perfect for this episode with you as well.
Finally, because,
a character she's calling him zombie the whole time. Yeah, but yeah, the episode opens. We get like this weird art housey opening that is a little confusing at first because it's a pure black screen and all you can hear is the whir of like a plane engine starting up and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And then pans out and we see the engine in its entirety doing its animations and stuff. And then we get this contrast or these cuts between the plane engine and this woman walking through a very muted snow-capped Japan, I guess, and there's images of this man that we find out they're sort of lovers or partners, and they're sort of stuck with this cold hardship in the snow, contrasting back to the airport, and we get this scene where we see this young girl happily waving goodbye to the plane in the sort of visitor area in the airport, cuts back again to this snow-laden area, all white, minimal use of color, black everywhere as well. We can see that the woman and the man are sort of like at the bottom of this building that's sort of almost had a hole ripped through it. It's like a multi-story and it's gone all the way down the bottom. So I'm sitting there going, is this sort of foreshadowing? Like, is this post the plane? Like, did the plane crash into this building? What's going on?
Yeah, I was very confused by the plane at the start. Like, is the plane relative to these people, effectively they're just hanging out in the snow? It's meant to be sort of a sappy kind of, please don't ever leave me, I love you forever kind of thing. I'm just thinking, I've seen this anime before, but then they get the whole point is that it's kind of meant to be a dramatization of, again, the manga that she reads. And it's like, but then the plane thing makes no sense, obviously, at the start.
Yeah, because cuts back again after some of those romantic scenes with this couple from the manga. And we've got sort of a bit of a wider shot of the plane as a whole. And then we see like this bolt of energy just come from the sky, hit the plane engine, blow the plane to hell. So everybody on this plane, we find out later, 270 people died in this plane crash or this plane explosion. And then it cuts back to the little girl looking through the glass that was waving goodbye. And there's this really beautiful tight shot of just her eyes. And you can see they're teary because obviously someone she knows is on that plane that's no longer there. And so it's this weird, like, what am I watching here? Like, is this some like A24 anime crossover that I've just embarked on?
Also, I just want to point out that they refer to it later as engine troubles. I mean, that is more than engine troubles. It looks like not like a lightning strike. It's just something comes from the sky and just blows up the plane essentially. And anyway, it's it's very interesting start to the show, because again, they don't sort of explain anything. This is just cold opening straight into it. So
Yeah, so it's just really jarring in those first, say, probably 60 minutes total that goes through. And then we find out it sort of flashes forward. We're in the year 2020 and all that black and white imagery, as Zombies mentioned there, that it was just Fuuko's favorite anime. And now that she's read to the completion of her favorite manga, of all time, she says, now it's time to put an end to herself. And then the camera sort of peels back again. And she's standing on the edge of this bridge above a heap of train lines, and she's planning to jump off and I guess get ran over or get hit by a train. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
And that is your intro. That is how you meet the character. And then, and an old mate who is zombie or undead or whichever one in California is just chilling behind her, drinking some boba tea and hanging out.
Yeah. Just casually, he's sort of like, squatting behind her, and he's like, yeah, little girl, what you're doing is dangerous. Yeah. And she starts saying, but my life is ruined. I want a shot at passionate romance, but thanks to this body, it can never happen. And then she sort of whips out a knife as sort of pseudo protection because she's a little bit worried about Andy, as you would be. He's a pretty imposing specimen. Yeah, it's like a Michael Myers
literally
kitchen knife of doom. And you're like, whoa, okay, this is going places I didn't expect it to.
Yeah, it's kind of the theme of the show, actually, I think, is it just keeps going where you don't expect it to go.
Yeah. And then it goes further in a direction you don't expect where, Andy's casually sipping on his boba, which made me very thirsty. I'm such a sucker for a good boba. And so she's sort of saying this monologue about, like my body, my body's letting me down. I'm never going to get romance. I'm never going to feel that true love. And she's sort of holding out the knife, looking away as she's sort of ranting and raving. And then Andy just casually walks right up and then just impales himself right through the middle of the chest with this blade. And she freaks out, notably so, because you're like, what is happening? Yeah. There's so much going on and I can't understand a thing right now.
Yeah. And then I think she says like, oh, you got to step off or I've got a curse. If you come anywhere near me, you're going to get this disease. That's right. She says a disease to begin with. And he's like, oh, that sounds fun. What's that?
No, he's got that sort of like surfer vibe lingo where he's like, oh, you've got a deadly disease that's transmitted by touch. That's wicked sick.
Yeah, that's it. Wicked sick.
Like, oh my God. But I'm like, all right, I'm here for it. So he's excited and he wants to touch her a lot to work out, where this disease is going to hurt, because then we find out that, he's undead / pseudo immortal in a way, and so he's trying to obviously end his life because he's been here for a very long time. But then Fuuko's like, no, that's not how it works, but get ready, it's coming, my unluck is here. And he's standing on the edge of this bridge, bit of the bridge breaks off, he falls down, splat by an oncoming train, blood, viscera and body parts go everywhere. And I'm like, can this escalate any further?
Yeah, that character lasted all of 1 minute, that's fine. And then she's all cut up, oh, it's happened again, and I can't believe it, and he's gonna, and then it's like straight away. We're not even 5 minutes into the show. First death, quickest death, maybe, I don't know. It's, but yeah,
it's a roller coaster. So yeah, she's sort of eulogizing what's going on. Oh, I'm so sorry, I've dragged another person into this. My unluck has taken another life. But then we see Andy or zombie or undead's head bounce back into scene casually, bounces back onto the bridge. We find out that the head is alive, he is alive, and he's using like the force of which he can pump blood out of his neck veins to almost shoot around like he can fly like Iron Man, which is a fantastic scene. And then we see him regenerate, and the artistic detail in the regeneration, where you first see the spinal column come back, then organs and muscles and skin and flesh, like it is really, really well done.
Yeah, and it comes right down to like it goes organs, muscles, flesh, skin, tattoos. And one of his tattoos says "dead end" as well. Yeah,
which cracks me up. And the other one, it's like, is it 1865?
Yeah,
I think
it's got 1865 on there, which. What happened in 1865? I guess
who knows? But yeah, so I'm just sitting there going, this is some of the craziest anime I've seen in a long time. And like you said, this is in the first 5 to 10 minutes max.
Yeah.
It cracks me up too, because obviously he's just regenerated himself. He's lost all his clothing. So then Andy's just hanging out there naked, and they censor out his penis with like this aggressive sort of scratched.
Yeah, which has a mind of its own as well. It's like a flap. It's like a sensor flap that blows in the wing, and it's so weird. But I'm just like, is he just hanging out? Is that?
Yeah, it is, because then Ruko realizes, that this guy is alive again, naked. So she punches him right in the jewels, attempts to run away from him. She's terrified, obviously, as to what's going on, because, she's realized that he's undead and cannot be killed potentially. Andy chases after her, grabs Fuuko. We see the police arrive, but then Andy, who still hasn't had his, he hasn't sort of regenerated his feet at this stage. He's stopped at the ankles, sees the popo there. So he picks up Fuuko and then, like in true Iron Man style, just flies and bounces through this Japanese cityscape up the walls, using his blood to project him upwards. And it's a cool little scene.
It's so bizarre when you think about it. Because they kind of hint, they don't really explain it much, but they kind of hint that like his blood sprays out, but then he also kind of collects it back. So, because I was like, if he's doing this, he's just painting the town red. But no, I guess he's kind of just pulls back. I don't know. It's such a bizarre thing. Look, I guess they had to figure out a way to make him fly, and that's it. So he's got blood rockets on his legs. It's so wild. And I think because they immediately go to a rooftop nearby, and when they land, he kind of starts to explain how he can fly. But the scene kind of pulls away, and he's kind of becomes background noise as he's explaining how he can jump using the pressure of the blood coming out of his legs. And I'm just in awe. I'm just like, who thought of this?
It is absolutely bonkers, but like it sort of treads this tightrope of being, it could fall to the amount of craziness and zaniness that's going on. But I feel they managed to stay on this tightrope. Like, I'm not at episode 12 yet, I'm at episode 10, and I feel that they've kept up with the mixture of emotion and realness and then just batshit craziness somehow. And it's a good mix that certainly checks the boxes for me. And so we're getting this very loosely scientific explanation from Andy up on the roof.
Very loose.
As far as his blood and what's happening. And then Fuuko freaks out because he tries to touch a leg, because he's thinking, no, if I touch you, my life is going to be over, because that's clearly all he wants that we're cottoning onto here. She freaks out again. And then he grabs her by both legs and goes like full Zangief style and is spinning her around and around and around. And it's nuts, and it still works, and it still maintains some level of sanity, because he's like spinning around. Explain to me how your abilities work. I need to know. She's refusing that at that time, but gets Zangiefed into submission. And she's like, all right, I'm going to let you know the story. And then it focuses again on her singular eye, like we got when it was the young kid at the airport. Really gorgeous shot again. The way some of these animators can draw and show emotion in eyes constantly blows me away in anime. And this was another one. I'm like, oh, even though we just had all this weird shit going on, there's just this little nothing frame where it's just beautiful.
Yeah. And then we get that sort of that transition, and also the music changes as well, and it all becomes very, very serious and very, we've got a very deep moment sort of coming up. And then we obviously flash back to the plane from the opening scene. And again, she refers to it as the engine troubles. But part of it is that she's explaining that, she thought her parents were going, I think she says they're going away on business, and they're going to be away a long time. So lots of hugs and kisses and farewells before getting on the plane. And then the engine troubles strike, which is all being told very, like, the animation's amazing. The music's very sad, and you think, oh man, we're going... Like it switches such a gear from moments ago with the Zangief going on straight into this whole, sort of story. And she goes into the fact that that's the day that she knows that she caused that accident and everything that came from it, which then we get sort of a hard cut out of straight out of the very sad moment about the death of their parents into Andy's coming in for a grope because he wants some more skin on skin action, because that's what he got from that story. And then the music hard cuts as well. I noticed, oh, okay, we're back. It's just, Andy just completely breaks any kind of any moment we're having. straight into a grope, which I'm pretty sure she replies with, stop trying to cop a feel. He's like, I need as much skin-to-skin contact as possible. Because from that story, he's gone, okay, well, if I touch skin-to-skin and the more skin-to-skin and hugging will give me the worst unluck possible, and therefore his glorious death that he's looking for. She said that's no excuse for copping a feel.
No, and rightfully so. Like anyone out there that is listening to this, like we're not condoning any of Andy's actions.
No,
like,
and it's
consent
tricky.
is key, right?
It's tricky because the whole main plot driving point of this is touching. Lots of I'm touching you. I touch you. I need to touch you more. And I'm like, okay, we're just gotta So it's just it's just skin to skin contact. It's nothing more than that.
Yeah, in that sort of heartfelt moment, we find out that Fuuko has been dealing with this, I guess you could say, isolation for a decade. Like she was 8 when she found out that she had this ability that occurred 10 years ago. So she's 18 now, and transitioning from that moment, which was pretty emotional, to then Andy going right in and putting his hands up her shirt to feel some boob. I'm like, come on now. But then the zaniness and the madness escalates again because sort of she pushes herself off during this groping session, gets away from him, and a giant crate of bananas falls from the sky, crushes Andy, like killing a normal person, but I guess temporarily killing or disabling Andy. And it's just this weird, like, throwback comedic banana peel moment personified here. And I was cackling the first time I saw this.
So why bananas? just out of everything it's just random plain bananas. I guess that's the whole point of the whole unluck is, it's to be unexpected. Whatever it could be anything. Absolutely anything. Yeah. Even a crate of bananas from a random plane that we didn't even know was there. It's just...
I was certainly not expecting the crate of bananas. And then to make it worse, like Fuuko's trying to flee. She's running across the roof of this giant skyscraper, slips on one of these banana peels, which is then pretty much going to potentially lead to her death because she slips on the banana peel and falls off the roof of this skyscraper. And as she's falling, she's thinking about all the regret she's got in her life because she hasn't experienced anything. And then another little heartbreaking moment for Fuuko here is her prized manga is slips out and sort of in the turbulent act of free falling to her potential death. The manga is just, it's gone. And it's like, no, that's the only thing she had left in life. And now it's gone too. What's going to happen?
Yeah. And it's a very long fall, but it's the moment where she realizes, hey, maybe I don't want to, jump off a bridge in front of a train. I'm not ready quite yet to end it all. But it's kind of it's a decision that comes a little bit too late because she's 2/3 the way to the ground. And and then old mate Andy sort of springs into action. When I say springs, because he has no feet again. He's using the blood rockets. But there's a little cool moment where as he's coming down, and I think it sort of works that he kind of gets a bone that comes out of one of his legs, like he grows the bone out, but not the flesh, and then uses that to sort of hang on to the wall as he's coming down the building to slow down his descent. Gets the manga first, very important, and then it actually catches Fuuko as well. And, he basically says, I'm not going to let you die, not when I've just discovered all this stuff, which is... it's it kind of shows that even like he has some sort of morals, like he's not going to necessarily just let her die. And, he's obviously he's trying to get things in it, but it's also kind of the first time that he shows that he's willing to save people. He's not kind of just a nutcase, which is how he's portrayed for the first few minutes.
He's not just a crazed sex pest. Like you can see he's got a little bit of that sort of anti-hero vibe to himself where he flies in with the blood jets, and then seeing him been able to control his bones and his flesh where he turns those shin bones into spikes and penetrates the walls to slow them fall down. Like it's so damn cool. And it's just this cool little hero moment he gets. All right, maybe you aren't just a complete perv and you've got some endearing qualities. Saves Fuuko, saves the manga. And it's a pretty cool moment there. And Andy then explains as they're sort of stopped, stationed on the side of the building, held in by his shin spikes, that he wants to, for Fuuko to unlock her ability to end his miserable long life. And you're like, oh man, that's pretty sad.
Yeah. And I think that's where you go, oh, and then you start to think, how long has this bloke been around? And also it's kind of like he's not, he's like, he's not old. If that makes sense. He's still a young fellow. He's just obviously immortal. And then and you go, okay, well, so his whole thing is he would like a glorious death, like someone to actually kill him and stay dead, I suppose, is kind of his torture. And obviously she at this point is kind of just going along for the ride, because I'm pretty sure the next thing he says is that he's going to go take her back to the home base, to his hideout. And he calls it his hideout, doesn't he? I think, it's just,
he does.
Like, okay, is he a superhero? What is this? Like, I fully expected like some kind of cape or some system coming out next, because hideout, and then and then again, it's just the blood jets. He just basically flies off and bouncing off building to building back to his hideout, and then I think it's the first time after that we actually see, apart from we see a couple of police officers earlier, but this is the first time we actually meet other characters that aren't the main, I guess, duo, which I don't know if they named this guy in the first episode.
They don't name the guys in the first episode, but like in the synopsis I mentioned, we'll just call them the mysterious organization.
Yeah.
So they're a bunch of nondescript suited people up on one of the roofs as well. You can sort of see Andy and Fuuko blood jetting off in the background on the way to the hideout. But then we also confirm that the mysterious organization seems to know about Andy pretty well and know that he's got a hideout and probably where it is. So you're like, oh, okay, these guys have got taps on everything.
Yeah, this is the bit that got me. He's like, he's going back to the hideout. Like, you know this? How do you? And then that kind of made me think that he's more of like, he's the crazy person who has a hideout and they all know where he is kind of at all times. So when he says he's going back to the hideout, he's just going back to, under the bridge somewhere else. Or I don't actually know what they don't really explain what the hideout is. It's kind of just an abandoned building.
It looks almost like an abandoned mall, yeah.
But because it's because we pretty much go straight from that to straight to the hideout. Then it gets a bit
it gets creepy again. Sorry, listeners. Yeah, like Andy's telling Fuuko to strip, so she attempts to escape again, because why wouldn't you at this stage? You're now a potential sex slave of some undead fiend. So
run is a good option. Yeah.
So she tries to run, and as she's running and Andy's almost Michael Myers chasing after, it feels like he could catch her in an instant. He's just sort of slowly meandering in the background, grabs hold, her jacket comes off during the struggle, and also her beanie comes off. And this is a big panic moment for her, because we get this massive Rapunzel vibe from Fuuko, where her hair is from her head down to the ground and then some, and she collapses on the ground in this part of the hideout. And she starts crying because she's like, I haven't had a haircut in a decade because no one can touch my hair because they'd end up dead. And it's just like, I'd be so upset if I couldn't get a haircut regularly, because I like a nice sort of maintained mop. So I feel this. I'm with you, Fuuko.
Yeah, and I was also immediately go, oh yeah, of course, no one can touch her hair. That's like, and then I'm thinking, there's 10 years of she couldn't do anything. Like there's what, how deep does the rabbit hole go? But it's interesting that the story sets up the rules so quickly, and they're like straight up like, hair, they can't touch the hair. Hair is skin. It's the same rules apply, and they break it down immediately. But it's just that moment of the hair fills the entire frame, and she falls to her knees, and she's like, I'm like, holy crap, where did that hair come from? And also, I just want to point out the beanie also says good luck on it.
Yeah, I love that. It cracks me up every time I see the beanie that little Fuuko's wearing, because the irony is very real there.
Yeah, so you have good luck beanie and dead end tattoo on the guy that can't die and the one with the bad luck.
Poor little Fuuko, she's just in a ball of emotion now, in a heap on the ground. She's sort of given up escaping from Andy, because this hairdressing thing really impacted her, as it would. Like, not being able to have any form of touch for a decade is a scary thing to think about in all seriousness. But Andy then whips out this hairdresser kit out of nowhere, and we find out that once upon a time he was a hairstylist. I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm suspending all disbelief. I'm just along for the ride. Of course, Andy was a hairstylist once upon a time. Let's do it.
Yeah, and he's just like, some time ago. It's just very casual. It's basically, don't think about it. Just trust me. But they also they get the haircut. there's the next bit, but he also establishes the next rule, which is that the unluck only activates when he stops touching, which again, like there's little nuggets they kind of just push in there, and they're just establishing these are the rules of the powers. We need to understand what's going on. But yeah, he says, she's like, oh, please don't, you'll get the unluck. And he's like, no, just sit still because it will only happen when I let go, basically. And then, yeah, out with the barber kit. And which I don't know where he got it from, and we never see it again. But
no, maybe it was made with like skin and blood follicles. I don't know. Maybe he can make that. Who knows? Yeah, but it is. I completely agree with you there as far as how they're sort of creating this world and explaining these rules and these powers. None of it feels forced. Like it's just organically explained in these little moments and in these little scenes. And it just helps the viewer. I'm like, oh, okay, I get that now. Okay, I understand
it's done really well.
How this works or how it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's rare because a lot of the time that they're especially when he's sort of got very quirky characters straight off the bat. For them to just sort of go, okay, well, it's written into the story. These are the rules. Set them up. Pay attention to what's going on, and you'll know what's going on. And I appreciate that a lot actually, because it doesn't break the storytelling, and also, she gets a great haircut. So,
and it's a really sweet moment too, like where we get this nice, heartwarming smile from Fuuko, and she gives Andy this cute little thank you because, this is something that she hasn't experienced or has been longing for the better part of a decade now. So to have this little touching moment shared between the two leads is nice, and it sort of breaks up the absurdness that we've been rolling through now for maybe 15 or so minutes. But then it pivots back to the unluck thing because Andy's like, hell yeah, I've just been touching you for 15 minutes straight. I can't wait to see what all this unluck does to me. And like instantly, the second he almost finishes this statement, he gets decapitated, and you're like, oh, what's happening here? And then the mysterious organization that we mentioned earlier all roll into the hideout that's not so hidden.
Yeah, the hideout that everyone knew about. It's obviously probably just on Google Maps by the sounds of it. And then and like it's obviously the confusion because Fuuko doesn't know what's going on, and she asks, who are you? And he literally says, hey, hold that thought. We just got to deal with Undead here for a second. And they take his head, which at this point I guess is unconscious from the shock of the chopping of the head off, and then they put him into essentially a Pokeball. And they caught him. But yeah, and then that's meant to then stop him from regenerating, and that stop him and everything else from, because he can essentially, from the way the show goes, getting his head chopped off, that's maybe a few seconds before he can just pop it back out, and then he's back in the full strength. So yeah. So Andy's stuck in this Pokeball that negates his ability to regenerate, and then the lead, we don't get this lead's name, but he's a very evil looking fellow. He's got the tried and true facial scars everywhere. Yeah. They're all rocking, they're in very well fitting suits with like a red shirt or tie, and all the henchmen, they sort of look like foot soldiers from the Ninja Turtles. Yeah, literally. Well, like fancy dress foot soldiers. You got the red masks over their faces, and
but he's unmasked. So you can tell that he's the big wig of this group of the mysterious organization. And he references that what we do is we police any unselected negators or anyone who throws the world into chaos.
Yeah.
Is sort of how he explains what this mysterious organization is / does. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, that's probably the most important line of the whole show, I think. Because I looked at what do you say? Because it's negators, and then I think he says they're Umas or something like that, who throw the world into chaos. And then he follows up with "you're a negator" to Fuuko, saying that you negate people's luck. And I'm like, okay, so what's the other one? What's the other thing that does the chaos? But we don't find out in this episode anyway.
We find out though that it feels like this mysterious organization, they could be a bunch of bad dudes because, they reference Fuuko's ability, and he says that this ability is perfectly suited for murder. Yeah. And Fuuko's sort of asking, are you going to use my ability for that? Like, what are you going to harness my abilities for? And so it sounds like they've got maybe a bit of a stable of negators and special humans in their back catalog that they can maybe use for evil doings, is what I interpreted all this to be.
Yeah, and I think there's even another follow-up line where he's just like, yeah, your power's only good for killing. And it's like, okay, we get it. We know what's going on. But yeah, through this whole confusion that initially has, they literally have one of the henchmen kind of tiptoe behind her and handcuff her immediately, to which she replies, hey, aren't you on my side? And then he kind of does the evil laugh and the, you must be joking, right? Sort of scenario. And yeah, it's straight up. You just go, okay, well, these guys are bad, I think. She's obviously whatever, but then the whole thing is, what's Undead been doing? Because they know about Undead. This is his hideout. I don't know, does he negate death? I don't know how is he just like a special powered person, or is he one of these negators? Like, obviously they put him in the Pokeball so he can't interject at any point at this one, but yeah.
It made me wonder, and I thought immediately of like, oh, maybe they can like farm or harvest these negators' DNA to then inject into people, so you could, I guess, become immortal in a way by taking some of Andy's DNA and splicing it with your own or something. So I'm like, oh, this could go in a whole host of ways, where we get this superhero, supervillain type of vibe that could just run rampant as far as people with abilities or negations. I don't know what
I don't know what it is.
Call it something. But this all gets a bit too much for Fuuko, and she starts breaking down because she's like, I can't believe a haircut has caused this. Like, it's all I've ever wanted, but a haircut has caused all this, and it's caused Andy to get captured. And yeah, she's very upset. And then referencing back to the golden bolt of energy or lightning that came down and caused the engine trouble on the plane, this giant, massive purple lightning bolt comes down, strikes the Pokeball or the capsule that Andy's head's in, and also that one of the henchmen is holding, burns him into a crisp instantly. The capsule pops open, and then Andy's head comes flying out, just like a Pokemon would when you do throw a Pokeball down for battle. So I was cackling again here.
Yeah, literally that. It is. And then he just snaps back. He's awake, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is I know what's going on." And it's just straight back into chaos mode. Really, is really what it comes down to. We're having this whole moment where it's all sort of feeling doom and gloom. Lightning strike, we get almost bloody Looney Tunes level frying of some henchmen, and then we're straight back into Andy's shenanigans.
And these shenanigans here are nuts, man. Like, because we look at Andy throughout these initial nearly 20 minutes now, and he's got this like blade of glass or concrete sort of protruding out of his skull, and I'm like, okay, that's just part of it, I guess. Maybe that's what led to him being immortal. Who knows? But then he goes, you know what? This sort of piece of...
He calls it a cork.
This object in my head acts as a cork in my brain because I need to keep 100 years of memories bottled up because it prevents me from going off the rails. Having too many memories and too many ideas and skills, I guess, at once makes him go a little bit crazy. So he's like, YOLO, time to not worry about that. Uncorks his head. He immediately like grows long hair like Super Saiyan style in Dragon Ball, and it turns him into this fighting machine because I guess he's got all these martial arts corked and tucked away. Absolutely cuts the shit out of all the suit henchmen, and then he recorks himself, goes back to normal, hair reverts back, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Again, what happened?
Yeah, and it's literally like he comes down, does a few flips and twirls and dodges everything, and it's one single strike. He just cuts them all. It's just like, well, okay, and he just sticks it back in his head, and he's like, yep, all corked up now, all good. And then it cuts to it comes because the only person left at this point is the leader, the unmasked man, the mystery man, and I didn't even notice it until like I sort of what was that, and I kind of went back a bit and had a look, and while he's talking, he's got a little nick on the end of his thumb, and he's spraying blood up, and he's balancing the sword, like the big knife, on the end of this blood fountain on his finger. Like he's spinning a basketball on his finger, but he's spinning the knife with a blood fountain on his finger. And then he makes the comment, like they have this they start their little dialogue, and he makes the comment, oh, so you're not going to fight then? It's like, oh my God. It's like
it's a really cool moment there, and it just shows how badass and I guess how powerful Andy could be.
Yeah, and it definitely takes him out of the category of he's a loony living in a weird house and whatever. He's a badass. And the whole comment of, hey, I've got 100 years worth of knowledge stored up. First of all, we know that now he's 100 plus years old. And second of all, what else has he got buttoned up in there? Maybe that barber college and it's all been under that cork the whole time. It really raises so many questions in like such a short little sequence. It comes out of out of nowhere, really.
I just love that scene and just that concept as far as the blade or the piece of concrete or whatever that's in there that sort of is keeping all these memories and abilities at bay. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen something like that in anime or in just media in general. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like there's something new and fresh and very bizarre, but it works for me.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen that's similar is when Homer puts a crown up his nose in The Simpsons. It's the same concept, though.
That's true. That's true.
But,
who stole from who? I don't know. But yeah, we then get this sort of showdown between head henchman, old Scarface, and Andy. The head henchman's like, hey, in order to save Fuuko, because at this stage he's sort of got Fuuko holding a captive against his body. He's all covered in clothing, obviously, so there's no chance of Unluck transferring onto old Scarface, but he's got a katana at her throat, and he's like, you either cut your head off or I'm going to take Fuuko's head off. What's it going to be, buddy? And without even any hesitation, Andy just whips out this giant-ass Bowie knife and starts going to town on his neck. And I'm like, what?
He's halfway through the neck before Fuuko even gets a chance to be like, yo, whoa, wait, what are you doing? it's just like, I think he says something along the lines of, look, I've given up. I don't even care. This is fine. I've had a fun day. I'm going to chop this off. If we ever meet again, let's catch up and let's party or whatever. And it's just like, again, going back to that surfer vibe, he's just like, yeah, this is sick. No worries. It's all good. Don't worry.
Yes. Hang loose, bro, type of thing. So he cuts his head off.
Yeah, cuts his head off.
Sorry, you go.
No, I just wanted to point out, when he cuts his head off as well, and like once it's fully cut and he throws the head, essentially, his body just goes, whoop, disappears. And
it turns into like blood dust, right? Just
I'm saying, okay.
Just fades away. Yeah, which was a cool little moment as well, because I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Like, can he just turn his entire self into mist or dust on command, or is the head the only permanent piece? I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah, so his sentient body that is holding the head and almost, I felt like he was going to do some Harlem Globetrotter tricks for a minute with the head there. Tosses the body over to old Scarface, bad dude. And in this moment where I guess he looks up to try and grab the head, Fuuko breaks away and pushes past Scarface, and she's like, I know how to trigger the biggest bout of unluck. Runs, jumps in the air, little sort of hero frozen frame moment where she jumps up and gives Andy's head a kiss on the old cheek as it's flying towards Scarface. And I'm like, what apocalypse is this going to bring on?
Yep. And it's earlier when he took away from the story that, the hugging and everything else is going to be the skin contact that does it. The bit that he didn't take from the story is the kisses as well, the hugs and kisses. So then this is that moment where she's like, oh, well, this is the bit that I left out that you didn't really catch on to, and plants one on his cheek as the head's flying midair still. And then, yeah, it's an absolute, just, it's almost like a freeze frame hero moment. It's like, oh, and you go, oh, I see. This is the next level. This is the next tier of unluck.
And this tier of unluck is absolutely insane. So Fuuko is now running to try and escape from the hideout. She gets out into the open air and she's almost running across this bridge. And then we see a goddamn meteor come from space, crash down on Andy and Scarface, destruction, death, chaos everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I feel that we can't get any more zany and absurd, yet it keeps putting, like, it's like a Jenga tower. It just keeps getting crazier and more turbulent, but it still has managed to stay upright.
Yeah, it's just because as soon as it goes to that wide shot and you see the sort of the glow in the sky, and you're like, what? And it levels the hideout's gone. It's gone.
The hideout is no more. Fuuko is very upset. The dust is starting to settle, and we've got a lot of the standard dust cloud you'd see from such a big impact here. She's a little bit upset, feeling that Andy or Zombie, as she's still calling him at this stage, is dead. But then, lo and behold, old Andy walks out bare-assed again, not a scratch on him, not an issue, just walks out, sort of reverse explosion hero moment, like where they walk away from the explosion. He sort of survived it and he's just walked through it, and it's a bit of a badass sort of sequence. Yeah, I'm like, all right, Andy.
He comes out and it's like, oh, that's the first time I've taken a meteor to the face. Like, and he's got Scarface's sword stuck in him at the same time. And he's just hanging out again, just hanging out in the breeze, walking. It's like, all right, it again sort of sets it up where you go, okay, well, a meteorite will not kill this man. This is the rules that have been set by the show now. So what the next tier up from that is, I'm not sure.
I'm excited to see what that tier is. Hey.
So it is a really cool moment though, where you just go, oh wow, okay. So there has to be some real hijinks if we're ever going to get to this point where this man's going to cop a death, because Meteor didn't do it, that didn't cut it. So wild, what a just wild part of the show. Again, I have no idea. We start with what? It's a haircut ends in a meteorite. That's sort of where they get.
I don't know where they can take it from here, but we get in these final few moments before the ending kicks in. We see Andy walking out, not a scratch on him, but a big old katana right through the chest. That's where Fuuko calls him zombie again. He's like, I'm not a zombie, I'm undead. And they have a bit of a chuckle in this little moment because he walks right up to her and they're sort of almost like, face to face, like there's a height difference, but they're pretty close to one another in this scene. Yeah. And his penis is just right there. Yeah. No one cares. It's just flopping in the wind. It's like, cool. Fair enough. It works. And so they're chuckling. You see her beanie float back down through the scene as well in this moment. And then Fuuko's like, you know what? We need to give you a name. Like, she's like, what's your name? He's like, I can't remember. But I wonder if he uncorked himself again, would he immediately remember his name straight away? I don't know. But she's like, I'm going to call you Andy because you're undead. And so I'm sitting there going, well, shouldn't it be Undy? Like, wouldn't it be Undy, not Andy? No, I guess that's a very Andy's Australian term.
But Undy. I don't know how the show would go if it's...
So he finally gets a name given to him from Fuuko, which is a bit of a sweet moment. But then the crass comes straight back in because he's like, whoa, this all happened because we kissed her. Guess next we have to try sex. And so straight away, fight or flight moment. Fuuko is like, fuck this, I'm out. Starts running around. And we get this line where she goes, this is our story of our quest of the greatest death ever. And then the ending begins and we get a song called 01 by Zuyu Vashi, which is actually the opening song. But because we didn't get an open, they've just parked it at the end here. And it is a banger.
It is a banger.
But this episode is balls to the wall right from the rip, all the way through this 20-odd minutes of runtime. And it's one of the most memorable first episodes I can remember, like recency bias aside, like ever in anime, because it's just so distinctive in so many ways.
There's a lot in that short episode. And they establish so much of who these characters are, what they can do. By the time at the end here, when he asked the question that we're all wondering, we're ready. Like, we're ready for him to skip off into the sunset. Dynamic duo start their journey. We know who they are. We know sort of what their motives are. And away we go. Scarface has been, I guess, hit by a meteor, so he's out. And but we have the question of who are the mysterious people in the organization, and like it's such a good setup. Like, we're ready to go, which is rare because a lot of the times, I guess what would be in episode 1 will end up being like a pilot episode where they kind of do bits and pieces, but they never really get into the crux of what the story is. Where I feel like we've started, we're on the road. How crazy can it get? And what did we say? There's 24 episodes for the season.
24 episodes. So
wild.
Yeah. So you think of the amount of stuff they threw at us in this first episode. What's the next 23 going to send our way? Because I'm sitting here just shaking my head so many times in this viewing session, but also smiling, laughing, genuinely shocked, a little bit grossed out too with some of because it is violent. Like, there is blood and viscera constantly flowing frequently. Like, it has got an R rating. So I wouldn't probably watch this with young kiddos. Unless that's your thing with your kiddos. But I certainly probably wouldn't recommend showing this to kids because, there's some very, very adult themes in here.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with, that's tomato sauce, don't worry about it. You're not going to get away with it in this show. That is a lot of blood coming from many chopped limbs constantly for just sometimes no reason at all. It just sort of happens. But it's a wild to think that there's 24 episodes in total, and the amount of just craziness that's gone from it. And we're only at the start. Like, it's just a fairly new show, so I'm interested. I'm hooked in a lot of ways. I want to know more because it does such a good job of like asking all these questions. Because really, you sort of sit there, and go, okay, well, what's possible then? If these are the rules that you're setting up for the show, what's possible? And the memory thing for me, and the organization with the like designated sort of terms for the people, I'm like, okay, there's some history here that they're not gonna give it to us willy nilly. We're gonna wait, but it's definitely some more to come. So yeah, it was interesting. It's again wild for a first episode.
Yeah, it's really, really well done as far as building out this world, establishing the characters, establishing the stakes, because a lot of these animes, you usually got to give it the 3 episodes, right, to sort of really find its footing and get that investment from the viewer. But this one, for me, it was just like, bam, I'm in after this first one, because it is so unique to anything that's come out this year or even the last handful of years. And no one's really talking about it is the thing that took me by surprise. Like, I saw the art for it when I was on my anime list. I'm like, oh, that looks pretty funky. There's some vibrant colors and the name sounds interesting. Read the synopsis. I'm like, all right, that sounds crazy. So I watched the first episode and I'm like, this is crazy. I think this is perfect for zombies. And here we are talking about it now.
Yeah, like honestly, because one of the challenges of trying to find an anime I haven't watched or whatever, you found one that I haven't even heard of, and I was just like, I have no idea what that is. And when I looked it up and I was watching it and like I found a few little sort of blogs and stuff like that sort of talking about it, saying they're coming straight from the manga's really good, so I'm excited for the show kind of point of view, but not a lot of hype around. Not like a not like a new show getting. It deserves more hype, is what I'm saying. I
think so, man.
It's fresh. It's a fresh show.
Great story, great cast. The animation quality is fantastic. Like David Production, like they're no slouches. Like they're primarily known for, the JoJo's franchise and most recently like the reboot of Urusei Yatsura is some of the biggest stuff they've done. But yeah, there's some very, very prestigious people behind this. Like Yuki Yase, the director, he's the man behind Fire Force, which is getting a lot of hype, a lot of love these days.
Love Fire Force. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. And even like Kenichiro Suehiro, I think is how you pronounce his surname, who's doing the soundtrack. He's the main man behind Re:Zero that we talked about earlier. That's one of your favorites. He's done Goblin Slayer, and he's the one helming the soundtrack for the Suicide Squad isekai anime that's coming out.
Oh, interesting.
So there's some pedigree here.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, where's the hype then?
That's what I mean. No one's talking about it. Like, no one that I know that talks and exists in this anime space, I haven't seen anybody mention it. And I just stumbled across it by chance, and I didn't even know it was on Disney Plus. Like, when I first was watching it a few weeks ago, I was just watching it legally in parentheses. So
I was surprised as well, because I was just like, as soon as I started watching it, I'm like, I've seen that thumbnail somewhere, and I quickly did a quick Google. I'm like, I'm streaming in Australia, and I thought maybe it ended up with Crunchyroll or something like that, but no, Disney Plus or Star or whatever they call the adults.
Oh
Disney
like
Plus.
Disney Plus they've jagged a few good ones on there. Like they've got some big ones. Summertime Rendering is still my favorite anime that's sitting over there on Disney Plus, but they've got some big stuff, and it's like exciting to see Undead Unluck on there. So hopefully that'll mean that more people will watch it, and
it's easier now to say, hey, you've got Disney Plus, you got to have a look at this show, check this out. Get in there, because it's good. I'm excited that it's in the progress as well, which means we get to see it as it comes out and see people's reactions and stuff to it. I'm definitely going to catch up after we've recorded this, because I've stayed neutral. I haven't looked at anything afterwards. I've seen a couple of thumbnails that kind of popped up and recommended it, raised an eyebrow. I've gone, okay. But apart from that, I've stayed right away from it, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, it is a roller coaster, unlike many roller coasters out there. So I think you're going to enjoy yourself, because this first episode really sets the tone and establishes the world and the stakes very well. And it's just a fun, crazy, unpredictable ride. And the fact that there's a little bit of heart and a little bit of sincerity and some softer moments thrown in amongst all this insanity, it just works really well. Like for me, it's just a cocktail that I'd happily sip on until I couldn't walk anymore. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I enjoy like the fact that it can switch from being, tender moment to a tense moment to action straight back to, that's perfect for me. I love a good, good roller coaster ride all the way through. So good.
Yeah, but listeners, if you're still on the fence about Undead Unluck, if you've watched any of the following, these are sort of the other anime that are constantly compared or recommended. If you like this, you'll love that, and vice versa. So if you've been watching Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, which excellent the first season has just finished, and it's so good. It's so good. I love that anime. It's one of the best new anime of 2023. Kill la Kill, obviously classic, goes without saying.
Yep.
Undead Girl Murder Fast, which came out this year, which is also underrated and very kooky and zany in its own right as well. And a little bit of an underrated sleeper hit from a decade and a half ago, I think, Is This a Zombie? Is the other one. So you can see that there's a lot of zombie-related love and synergies here between Undead Unluck and its equivalents here. So if you've watched any of those and you enjoyed that, give Undead Unluck a peek because it's so fun. But zombies, we're going to jump into the last word, which is presented by Japan Crate. Experience Japan through snacks and knickknacks via monthly package drops courtesy of japancrate.com. And while you're there, be sure to use code 8bit15 at checkout for free shipping anywhere in the world and 15% off your order. So zombies, what is your last word or words in relation to Undead Unluck?
Well, at first I wasn't sure if unluck isn't actually a word, but now it is. I don't care anymore. But I really enjoy shows that can still surprise me and makes me wonder what was going on in that writer's room when they thought, I'm going to make the unlucky person and with the undead person, and they're just going to go on this adventure together. It's good. It's nice. It's great to feel and watch something that is fresh, refreshing, that hasn't been done before. There's been way too much of the same thing over and over again, and this is definitely not that. This is something that you do not expect, and even we've explained to you beat for beat the first episode. You're still going to watch it and be surprised. So it's nuts, but I approve it. I approve of this nuts. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. I also approve of this nuts because it's just a fun time, and at the end of the day, that's all we want when we're consuming content, whether it be a game, a podcast, an anime, a film. Like if I can walk out of it entertained and with a smile, that's well worth the cost of admission, whether it be financial or time-based. So, check out Undead Unluck, available on Disney Plus for you local listeners, but I'm assuming abroad that might fall under Hulu or something like that in the United States. Or there's some other ways you can find this episode and this series to watch out there. I will not put the links in the show notes, but you can find it if you're desperate enough. But man, thank you so much for joining me here on the More Than Hentai podcast. One last go around. Where can people find you? What have you got coming up? I know you've got a new podcast that has been marinating for a while and it's going to see the light of day, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Very soon. You can find me everywhere as Zombies LV Bacon. It's Zombies Love Bacon, not Zombies Level Bacon for those. Streaming constantly on Twitch, on all the socials, making all sorts of kind of crazy shorts and content always. And yeah, we've got if you do manage to see the Creator Notes podcast, it's coming out in January. Very excited. It's all about interviewing not just streamers, but just creatives in general about their journey. And I've already just found some very unique individuals with some pretty amazing stories to tell. So keep your eyes out for that. But, yeah.
Hell yeah. And when that podcast drops, and also the ZLB podcast, rate, review, subscribe the hell out of it, because those ratings, those reviews, they mean the world to us. They take no time. They cost you no money, but it's just positive karma. So pay it forward. Do it for More Than Hentai, do it for ZLB, and do it for all the other podcasts you listen to on the regular, because, yeah, that's our lifeblood. That's what keeps us doing what we're doing. So just, throw some positive vibes our way when and where you can. You can find all the 8-bit related content at We Are 8-bit or videogamesandculture.com. You can find me on the socials at Brendan8bit. You can find Zombies at Zombies LV Bacon, as we mentioned just before. But I guess it's time to get on out of here. So whether your anime be subbed, dubbed, or still yet to come, enjoy yourself, stay hungry, and much love to all the gorgeous waifus out there. Goodbye.
See yous.